StraighTallDay.com.
They say that America is a country of immigrants. Have you heard this saying before? Some of you believe it. Some of you have said it. Some of you are actually immigrants. You or maybe your parents came here as immigrants and you believe in your bones. Actually, you know it to be true. Now, it's not even you just know that America is a country of immigrants because you're an American, you're a citizen, your parents became citizens and came here as immigrants, or maybe your grandparents. I'm here to let you know that America is not a country of immigrants. And I'm going to explain to you why I have this stance. And I'm going to explain to you logically and rationally why I'm right, all right, as usual. Now, this is a common refrain that America is a country of immigrants. You often hear this from politicians and people defending anything that has to do with immigrants coming into this country, right? Whether they're talking legally or illegally, you're hearing this. This is often coming from people on the political left, but it doesn't really matter where it comes from. Just everyday people say it. People come into this country, again, no matter how they got here, documented, undocumented, legal, illegal. I'm going to, break down the bullshit. And I'm going to explain to you what is actually true about what our country consists of here today, because we are not a country of immigrants. That one I'm standing on, and I'm going to explain to you right here in the first point why that's true. Point number one, the topic once again, is America is a country of immigrants. I'm saying no, it's not. Number one, the United States of America, just in case anybody didn't know. Okay, I want to make sure this is printed in 10-inch headlines. I want to make sure no one misconstrues what I'm about to say right here. The United States of America is a country of citizens, not immigrants. Citizens, not immigrants. Now, how do we know? How do we know that this is a country of citizens, not immigrants? Well, let me ask you a question. Anyone who came here as an immigrant, or your parents came here as immigrants, what's the main goal of an immigrant who comes here to the United States? If you come here and you're doing the right thing and you're doing all the paperwork and you're doing everything above the board, what is the number one thing that immigrant wants to do? The immigrant wants to become a citizen. Why do you want to become a citizen? So that your visa or your amount of time you're allowed to legally visit does not expire and you can stick around, right? So the whole point of coming here as an immigrant is not to remain an immigrant, is to become a citizen. And when you become a citizen, that means they can't ever kick you out. They can't ever tell you have to leave. Your stay is never, you have never overstayed your welcome, because now you're a part of this. That's what America is built on. People coming here as immigrants, yes, then wanted to become a citizen so that now you are a part of the fabric of what we're doing here, not a visitor to what we're doing here. That is what America is built on, not immigration. Because everybody technically somehow, some way came here. Well, unless you were talking about the Native Americans, or what some people call indigenous and some people still inaccurately call Indians. Save for those people, based on the history that we've chosen to accept, at least as of today, this is where most people come from. But everybody's trying to become a citizen. Why? So you can stick around. That's it. Any immigrant who comes here, your main goal is to stay here so you don't have to worry about renewing a visa, being here legally, or getting shipped out by customs and immigration or ICE coming to raid your job or any of that shit. Every immigrant wants to become a citizen, not just remain an immigrant. The way you become a citizen is you come here, you follow the proper procedures, you follow the rules, you contribute to society, don't take anything off the table, so to speak, only put something on the table. And once you have shown that, then America, hopefully in time, grants you the privilege of becoming a citizen here in the United States of America. And being a citizen of the United States of America is a privilege, it is not a right. Especially if you have come here if you were born somewhere else and you come here, you becoming a citizen is a privilege, it is not a right. Just for the record. Now, if you're born here, then you're a citizen. That's the rule. But if you are not, it's not your right to become a citizen. You have to pay the price. Now, you got to follow the rules. That's the way it works. And these are written on the books, folks. This is not Dre Baldwin making this up. These are the rules that are on the books. And this is the way it works. Every other country in the world, it works the exact same way, in case any of you didn't know. Especially those of you who come from other countries, you know this is the way that it works in other countries because you came from one. All right, no one has to be allowed to become a citizen of the United States just because you showed up. I don't care what the reason is that you left the place you came from. Just because you showed up at somebody else's front door does not mean they have to let you in the house. Doesn't matter how big their house is. That's not your business because it ain't your house. So if I got a 20-bedroom house and I'm living in it by myself, I am not obligated to allow 19 other people to live in my house just because I got the space. It's my fucking house. If I let you in, then I let you in. If I decide to kick you out, you got to leave. That's the way it works. So in this sense, we are not inclusive. The United States has painted itself, especially during the administration of Mr. Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris, it painted itself as this inclusive place that just allows anyone and everyone in, because we're a country of immigrants and we're a melting pot, and we have to embrace diversity and allow people from all over all places. And if you are against that in any way, then there's something wrong with you. You're a xenophobic and you're racist and you're just a bad person because you are rejecting the diversity that makes America as beautiful as it is. Do I sound like Kamala Harris? I should, because this is the kind of shit that she was saying during her failed campaign. The United States is not inclusive. The United States is exclusive. How do we know the United States is exclusive? I'll prove it to you. Question for any of you who came here as an immigrant, or any of you whose parents or grandparents came here as an immigrant. I'm just sticking to parents and grandparents and you because you probably are close enough to them to where you can get their direct stories. Any of you who know someone who either did or is in the process currently of becoming a citizen of the United States of America, how long was the process? Or how long has the process taken and it's still not complete? I ask this question when I do my live streams. The answers are usually anywhere from 2 to 20 years. Yes, 20, 2 to 20 years of people trying to go through the process, or not trying to, but going through the process of trying to become a citizen in the United States of America. That is proof of the exclusivity of being a citizen of the United States of America, because it is not a right that you have just because you showed up. You got to go through an arduous, tedious, paperwork-filled, often frustrating, daunting process to become a citizen of the United States of America. If you know anyone who has completed this process, ask them if I got that right. I know I got it right because I know people who have gone through this process. It ain't easy and it ain't fun, and it takes a long ass time, and you're working with the United States government, which is a big, bloated bureaucracy that is very slow and very inefficient at getting things done. It does eventually get things done, but you shouldn't be holding your breath waiting. You can't hold your breath for 20 years. The exclusivity of being a citizen of America is what makes the value of being an American citizen go up. When, during the administration of Joe Biden, between 2021 and 2025, early 2025, the value of being an American citizen was diminished because we were not making it as exclusive, or not even being a citizen, of being a person with legal status. That was the term they were using. Having legal status in the United States of America, the value diminished because we were allowing too many people to have it. Anything that you allow too many people to have access to, the value goes down. This is just a law of economics, ladies and gentlemen. This is not about race or nationality or even about immigration. This is just a law of economics. The more people have access to something, the less value the thing has, period. That's not a theory, that's a reality. When you are exclusive, the value of whatever you're offering exclusively goes up. When you become inclusive and allow everyone to access, or more people to access something, the value of that very thing goes down. This is a law of human nature. And as American citizens, most of you who are listening to this, I would guess that most of us want the value of being an American citizen to continue to be high. Why? Because it makes it worth something. It's something that you own, American citizenship. All of you who are passport holders in the United States of America, you own that. Do you want the value of things that you own to go down? And if so, why? Why would you? Point number 2. Today's topic, once again, is America is not a country of immigrants. Number 2, people talk about how everybody wants to come to the United States and how nobody wants to leave. Is this true? Hell yeah, it's true. All right, there are some of you listening to this right now who have a lot of negative things you could say about the United States of America. A lot of things you could say about America that are not perfect, that are less than ideal, that are reflective of some principles or some, what's the word I'm looking for? Priorities that are completely out of line. And for at least some of the things you could list, I would agree. I'll even give you a couple myself. I'll give you one right here. Is that the United States of America always seems to come up with enough money for defense and military spending. In my lifetime, I've never heard the United States needing to get money or supply money for any type of defense or military behavior and not having the money and not being able to get the votes through our governmental branches to get the money. When we wanted to get money to go fight whoever we wanted to blame for 9/11, we got the money. When George W. Bush tricked America into telling us that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq, and we went over there for how long we were over there, 10 years, to fight who and to do what and to establish what and to establish democracy, quote unquote, in Iraq, which ultimately failed. It failed terribly. We found the money for that shit. All right, 10 years, we found the money for it. If there was any type of attack that ever happened, God forbid, on the United States soil, I guarantee we would find the money to fight back against whomever we need to fight back against. America has never come up short on a bill for defense and military spending. Never, ever, at least not in my lifetime. That is, I think everybody can agree with that. While at the same time, here's the criticism. There are people living on the streets in the United States of America. There are people in America who don't know where their next meal is coming from. There are people in America who don't have the basics of food, clothing, and shelter. And the amount of money we spend on defense and military, a small percentage of that could, at least on some basic level, solve the problems of people not having food, clothing, and shelter. This is true. If you want to offer a criticism of America, and that's one of them, I agree with you. Okay, everybody heard that? Now, I will offer that criticism of the United States of America because that is very clear. The United States' priority is much more about the defense and the military. And there's a defense to that, too. If I wanted to argue the other side, I could argue it, which is one of the reasons why we don't get attacked here. One of the reasons why we are the world's strongest powers because we got the biggest guns and the most weapons and the most people trained and ready and willing to use them. That's the reason nobody fucks with us. That's the reason we had a power that we had. So there's a reason why that money goes that way. All right, that is a defense of that. I'm not getting into that here today, but I'm saying if you did want to offer the argument on the other side that there are people without food, clothing, shelter, yet we never run out of money for guns, that's true. And it's a legit criticism. So is America perfect? No, it's not. Yet, those of you living in America who have criticisms of America, that may be one of them that I just listed, and you may have 10 more, you ain't leaving. I mean, you got a passport. All right, you can get on, you know what an airplane is, right? You know where the airport's at? Okay, you know how to buy a plane ticket? All right, why aren't you leaving? Most people who I know are here and they're staying here. Even the people I know who leave here, I know some people who have actually moved out of the United States and moved to other countries. I know some people who have done this. They're there right now in those other countries. They didn't give up their passports. They didn't give up that American citizenship in the process of leaving. They held on to that passport, even though they left. So everybody wants to come here and nobody wants to leave. Every one person leaving, there's 1,000 people trying to get in. Is this true? Of course it's true. Now, why is this? Is it because those 1,000 people are too dumb to realize how terrible America is? And if you're saying that America's terrible, yet you ain't leaving, I don't believe you. Not just for the record. I want to hear you saying that America's terrible while you're holding on to your American citizenship and not leaving America. If you really believed it, you'd be leaving. If you really thought it was terrible. I mean, how many countries are there in the world? There's a lot. You got a lot of other options. Why are you still here? Because you don't believe that shit. It just sounds good on social media. Right? People want to come to the United States of America, not because they want to go fucking visit Times Square and take pictures. All right, they want to be part of what we have going on here. They don't want to be visitors of what we have going on. They want to be part of it. They want to be part of the fabric, not a visitor to the fabric. They don't want to visit the museum. They want to come live in the building. Y'all understand? People don't come here to stay visitors. Anytime I'm doing live streams and I ask people, have you gone through this process? Again, I told you 2 to 20 years is the answers that I get. People going through citizenship, the process. People spend that much time trying to become a citizen of the United States of America because they understand the value of being a citizen in the United States. That's the reason why people go through 20 years of process to try to become a citizen. They don't want to just remain an immigrant. There's a ton of paperwork, a lot of red tape, tests that got to be taken, a ton of bureaucracy, all types of nonsense you got to go through. And people will go through all of that shit just because of the value of citizenship. All right, that's what our country is built on. Citizenship, not immigration. Point number 3. Today's topic, once again, is America is not a country of immigrants. Number 3, the real reason why this conversation even needs to happen is because a lot of people, mostly those who lean left politically, trying to make this argument about us being a country of immigrants as a way of saying, this is the reason people bring it up. They bring it up as a way of saying that we should allow in as many visitors and immigrants as possible simply because that's the fabric of what this country is about. All right, that's bullshit. No, it's not. The fabric of this country is about people who are here and they are permanently here and they build within here. That's what this country is about. Every country has rules about who can come in, who cannot come in, and the process that has to be followed. Even if you want to visit, there's a process to follow. How many of you know people who have been trying to come to America for years, but they can't get a visa to even visit? They can't get a work visa. They can't get a travel visa. They can't get any kind of visa. They're trying to come. They just can't get here. How many of you got here because, or at least you were able to visit here because, or it's somebody you know, they got a visa. They won the lottery to get a visa. All of you know that in other countries that to granted the privilege of visiting the United States, often it comes down to a lottery process. Really, it's like might be 100 people trying to win the lottery to get a visa to the USA, and maybe 20 people get it, and the other 80 people are just shit out of luck until the next time, 6 months from now. Do y'all know that that's a real thing? People are literally trying to win the lottery to come visit the United States, not to stay, to visit the United States. That's what makes it exclusive. That's what makes it valuable. So, and those people who come here, once they see it, they're like, yeah, it's exactly what I thought. I want to become a citizen. How do I become a citizen? How can I do it? There's a process that must be followed in any country in the world. If you want to enter, or they tell you that you can enter, and what you have to do if you want to come into a place that is not yours and to which you do not officially belong. You're not part of the fabric of this country, Brazil. Okay, here's what you have to do, Dre, if you want to come visit Brazil. All right, here's what you can do and what you can't do while you are in Brazil. Here's how long you can stay if you choose to visit Brazil. If we grant you the privilege of coming here, Dre, here's how long you can stay. Here's what you can do. Here's what you better not do. If you ever want to be able to come back, here's how it goes. And they'll tell you right off the top. Every country in the world has these rules, by the way. The United States did not just invent these out of nowhere. Every country has these rules. It's the same way you got rules for someone visiting your house. There are rules. Take your shoes off when you come through the front door. Put your shoes next to the front door. Do not walk in my living room in your outside shoes. Don't do it. It's the way it works here. If you want to be in my house, these are the rules. The United States has rules. And immigration, again, a privilege, not a right. All this being said, we are not a country of immigrants. We are a country of citizens, also a country of laws, a country of rules, and a country of processes, a lot of them. And notice that people tend to leave those pieces out when they're talking about immigration. They tend to leave those pieces out very conveniently to try to make their argument. Usually it's an emotionally swaying argument. They're trying to sway you emotionally by saying we're a country of immigrants. Look at all these immigrants who we have here in the country. You got the president, he's married to a woman who is an immigrant, and you got what used to be his right-hand man, Elon Musk. He was an immigrant. And you got these other folks, depending on who you ask. Was Barack Obama actually an immigrant? Couldn't be president if he was. But there are people who say, hey, maybe he came from a very diverse background. Let's just say that. And you got all these immigrants who have done great things here in the United States of America, and everybody's wanting to come here. We are the land of opportunity, and everybody came from somewhere, and black people came from Africa, and et cetera, et cetera. You got all these emotional arguments of all these people who are here. Everybody came from somewhere else. Why all of a sudden are we going to try to stop people from coming here? Well, newsflash, we've been stopping people from coming here for a long time. Barack Obama deported more people than Donald Trump did. That's a fact. Look it up. So we are a country of citizens, not immigrants. And that's okay, because every immigrant, if you are granted the privilege of coming here, you could do the work and pay the price to become a citizen. Why? Because it's a privilege. You are not owed anything just because you visited. Let's recap today's class, which is America is a country of immigrants. Number one, we are a country of citizens. Any immigrant who comes to the United States, their main goal is to become a citizen so that they can stay in the United States and they are part of the fabric here, not just a visitor. Number two, people talk about how everybody wants to come to the United States and nobody wants to leave. Is this true? Of course it's true. Because people want to become Americans, not because they want to go visit Times Square or go to Las Vegas and gamble away some money. They want to actually be a part of what we have going on here. They want to be accepted into this, not just a visitor of this. And number three, the real reason why this conversation is even occurring these days, because a lot of people, mostly on the left, are trying to make this argument about us being a country of immigrants as a emotionally swaying argument when it's a nonsense frame, because the people who come here, they come here to become citizens. They do not come here to just be immigrants. And what they're doing is kind of conflating the immigrants who come here with the immigrants who come here with proper documentation from those who don't, because the big conversation, at least from late 2024, or actually all of 2024 going into 2025, was all around the people who had migrated here and who are not citizens, and they may not have proper documentation. And the United States government, at least once the Trump administration came in, they came in saying, we're going to get these people out of here. And the outrage of people pushing back against this, not because rationally or logically it made any sense to push back, but because who was being headed by. Oh, Donald Trump is trying to push these people out. That means it must be wrong. So let's go argue on behalf of them, even though it didn't even make any logical fucking sense. That's the reason why I had to make this episode here today, for everybody to have the record set straight for you. All that being said, all right, you want to make sure that your records are set straight when it comes to the way you run your business, the way you operate personally, when it comes to your clear strategies for moving forward, the systems that make those strategies go, and the execution and outcomes that you are in business to get. Go to workonyourgameuniversity.com, work with me directly, and let's get to it. Work on your game. Dre, all